Last week, but one, I made a very costly mistake, and I feel like I should talk about it because it might help someone out there. Now, I have owned a car close to 8 years now, but there's still something that I don't know about my car. You know, when my car develops some mechanical problem, that is when I come to discover that some parts even exist. On 3rd of this month, I was driving to work as usual, and as I was making the last turn to my workplace, I heard some very weird sound coming from the bonnet. I could not guess, and normally I have very loud music in my car, but I had to put it off so that I could, hear properly where the sound was coming from. And as I was negotiating some of the corners, I could hear the sound, and the steering was becoming more and more hard. But I went all the way to work. I parked the car, but it kept on disturbing me, and I had to call a colleague so that they can help me diagnose the problem. Indeed, the colleague came, entered the car, and I tried to, turn the steering so that he could hear the sounds and maybe help me diagnose the problem. Akaniambia it could be one of the bearings, because when one of the bearings is faulty, normally it could make some of such sounds. But I told him no. Even when the car is not in motion, still I could hear those sounds when I'm turning the steering. And he told me, you know what? The only thing that you need to do is to consult a mechanic. So just call your mechanic and tell them what you are experiencing. And that is exactly what I did. At around 11, I left my workplace, so I had to be somewhere at around 1, and I had to buy something from the supermarket so that I drop it in that place. So I left work, I went to town. I live in Kisii town, by the way. I went all the way to the supermarket. I parked my car, bought some stuff that I had to drop somewhere. Nikarudi kwa gari. That is when I discovered now the steering wheel was becoming more and more tough. Turning it was a problem. Normally it's very smooth. And I had to call my mechanic, one of my mechanics. Akaniambia, hiyo inaweza kuwa power steering. It could have, it could be losing some oil now, and this is normally caused by a leaking pipe, ama upate tu oil imeisha. But what you do, I'm a little bit far. What you do, just come to where I am. So it was in a place called Gesonso within Kisii. And I thought, now, let me drop these things that I was supposed to drop somewhere. After I finish with that errand, then I can go looking for him. Then I reached that other place, and I parked the car. But I discovered now, it was now tough, even, negotiating so that you can park the car at the right place. The steering was becoming more and more, very, 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 very tough. Yani ilikuwa ngumu kama maisha ya Gachagua saizi. So me kutoka, but before I left, I called another guy, now my normal mechanic, sikwangi na mmoja, quite a number of guys. Na msiniambia ati mtu kuwe na mechanic mmoja. Sometimes, you need a second opinion. So nikapigia jamaa mwingine, akaniambia, what you do? Fungua hapo kwa power steering, kwa hiyo reservoir ya power steering, put some ATF oil if you have. It could help you, the steering will become more soft, and you can come all the way here so that we can see where the problem is. If it is a faulty pipe, we can replace it, ama upate tu labda oil ilikuwa imeisha or something like that. So that is where now I made a very costly mistake. Absent-mindedly, nikaangalia kwa boot, nikapata niko na some ATF. I had some, ATF iko kwa kibuyu yenye haiku imeisha. So I opened the bonnet. Absent-mindedly, badala ya kumwaga ATF kwa hiyo reservoir ya power steering, kumbe nimefungua brake fluid, the reservoir of the brake fluid. So nimekaeka, in short, nikamwaga some ATF kwa brake fluid where you're supposed to put the brake fluid. And I discovered late after nimemwaga like a few drops. You see, a few drops, ile nimemwaga tu kidogo, like 10 mils or something. I discovered no, hapa ni kwa power steering. And nikasema hii ni kitu kidogo. Sasa nikasema ama nikarudisha switch. So because of that now, between that confusion, nikasema tu acha ikae, let me just wait for the mechanic so that he can do his thing. Nikarudisha hiyo mafuta kwa boot. So after that errand nikaenda sasa, nikapata na huyo mechanic sasa mwenye aliniambia niweke some ATF kwa power steering. Nikamwambia nimemwaga, but nimemwaga in the wrong place. So please, akasema no, don't do anything, now come to where I am so that we go to the garage. Apparently that guy was not in his normal workplace. So akaniambia place alikuwa, nikaenda nikamchukua, tukaenda paka kwa workshop yao. So nikamwambia okay, mistake nimefanya, unaona hapa hii place ya brake fluid nimemwaga ATF kidogo. Akaniambia hii inaweza kumesia brakes, so what we'll do, we'll just suck it out, ama we'll have to wash that hiyo reservoir, tumwage tutoe hiyo master cylinder, tumwage hiyo oil yenye uliweka hapo, then we wash it with petrol, na sasa tununue brake fluid mpya, we put it there. Meanwhile wakaangalia system ya power steering, wakapata indeed there was some pipes which were leaking, na ni kama zilikuwa zimepasuka, so they were leaking. A lot of ATF was leaking from the power steering system. So hiyo tukasort, I went and got the pipes, we replaced the pipes, tukamwaga ATF, hiyo system tukasort. Sasa normal ilikuwa kwa brakes, tumewasha brake master cylinder, hiyo reservoir tukaosha vizuri, tuka rinse na petroli, tukaweka brake fluid mpya, and we rinsed everything, it was okay. So tukajaribu wakafanya kitu inaitwa bleeding. This that is the first time I discovered about bleeding, though usinichekele, because sometimes we own these machines but we don't know how they work. So they did bleeding brakes. Yani bleeding inamaanisha you allow ama kutoa hewa kwa system ya brakes, because unajua anything pipes mahali fluid in a flow, sometimes kunaweza kuwa na airlock, so that is why they do bleeding, to make sure that the braking system is top notch. So hiyo wakamaliza bleeding, then we went for a road test. Mimi kushikio nini, the mechanic mechanic aka drive vizuri, akasema now the car is okay, but when I tried to drive it, I could feel that the brakes were not good. They were not good enough, they were not sharp, and I felt very uncomfortable. So they tried some more bleeding, and wakasema now mali imefikia, just go with the car, and if you experience any problem, you can bring it back to us. That is exactly what I did. But as I was driving home, I could feel that the brakes are they are not good, they are not sharp. Hata kushika bump, unapiga unakanyaga brake, unasikia ni kama gari na kurusha design fulani, and which is not very good. But I went all the way, nikafika nyumbani, nikapark gari, but nilifeel ni kama hizo brakes hapana. Nilisema hapa there are no brakes here. So the following day I wake up, that was on 4th, and I open my gate, nawasha gari, then as natoka nje ya gate yangu, so normally I want to park the gate, so I close the gate. I want to park the car briefly, so I lock the gate, then I leave. Brakes zilishika. Vile natoka hivi, nasikia gari haina brakes mazee. So alafu there was something, there was someone coming, there was someone along the way. So ikabidi nikaekelea gari kwa fence yangu. Man, that was so scary. Yeah, It was so bad. I had to direct my car to my fence, na ikaharibu fence yangu, and I had to repair the fence at a cost of 3,000-4,000 shillings, and that was not funny, very scary. Bumper iliisha, and now I had to involve my paint guy, because bumper imeharibika, imekatika, it was so bad, but luckily the headlights were intact, they were not broken. So I made a call to that same mechanic wenye walikuwa wamefanya bleeding, nikamwambia nimetoka hapa, kitu nimefanya, kuja tu jione. But even as I parked my car the previous night, I called them and I told them, I don't have brakes. This car has no brakes, so you have to repeat this bleeding, or maybe there's something really wrong with this braking system. So when the guy came, akapata hiyo hasara nimefanya, nimeangusha fence, bumper imechapa nini, and akakushika hiyo gari pia kunini kidogo, alisikia hakuna brakes. So akaichukua. Yeye kuna vile mechanics are very creative, so yeye alitumia handbrake. He used the handbrake to control the car all the way to the garage. So I had to call my paint guy, pia akarepair the bumper. But this is where the problem was. So walienda kuangalia master cylinder, wakasema una vile uliweka ATF kwa master cylinder, that is what messed your braking system. Hakuna brakes hapa, so the only thing that we need to do is to get a new brake master cylinder, na labda you need to inquire if we can get it in town. So Kisii, tulitafuta hiyo kitu Kisii, we could not get it, and I had to consult a guy. There's a guy mwenye ananiuzianga, kuna jamaa ananiuzianga hizo vitu, yani spare parts za Makei za Toyota Avensis. So kupata spare parts za Toyota Avensis Kisii sometimes inakuanga noma, so we have to order them from Nairobi. And there's a guy anaitwa KM Auto Spares, a very genuine guy. Nikamuuliza, can I get this brake master cylinder? Akaniambia hiyo inakuja na booster yake, and that thing is 10 Gs. Na akaniambia 10,000 no bargaining. Akasema hiyo siwezi kutolea hata 200. That one, if you have, when you get the money, just send me the money, I ship it to Kisii. And that is exactly what I had to do. So wameniambia mechanic wamesema hii gari hii brake haiwezi kuwa bila hii master cylinder, and there is no way you can improvise this thing, so it needs a new one. Na huyu jamaa wa Nairobi ameniambia niaje, I can sell you the master cylinder, but it normally comes with a booster. You cannot buy them separately. So that's the only way. Send me 10 Gs, I send you the package. And that is exactly what I did. Nikatuma do, hiyo master cylinder na booster yake zikafika the following day. That was on Saturday. Kuweka hiyo kitu wakasema hii kitu ilikuwa spoil tu ni master cylinder, so we just get the master cylinder, and we don't need the booster. So wakaeka hiyo master cylinder kwenda road test. Karibu pia iwa made. There was no brake there. Wakasema sasa now the only thing that we can do, maybe we try the booster. Let us try to put now the complete unit as it came from Nairobi. Kuweka, it couldn't work. I was so stressed. You use a lot of money, unanunua brake fluid, wanafanya bleeding, inaisha, wanasema hii brake fluid labda ndio mbaya, tujaribu sijui ingine, hii ya toto labda iko fake, let us try something, sijui inaitwa seal wall, sijui gani, you buy, wanajaribu, inakataa. It's costing you money. Mtu wa nini yeye ashamaliza nini yake, mtu wa bumper ashamaliza story yake, yeye anangojea tu watu wamalize bleeding, because apparently brake fluid is very is not very good with paint. Ikimwagikia gari hata hiyo paint, hiyo spot yenye imemwagika inaharibika. So the guy could not paint the car because the brake system is not perfect. So we had to return. I had to return the package to Nairobi, and that guy was so good. Mwenye alikuwa ameniuzi hiyo brake master cylinder na booster, yeye akaniambia kama hiyo haijafanya wewe nirudishie nikutumie ingine. And that is a guy I've never met, by the way. Shout out to KM Auto Spares Nairobi. Huyu jamaa roho safi sana. So ikarudi, I had to return it so that I try another one. So akanitumia ingine, and finally it worked, and I was very relieved but not happy. Why? Because hiyo mistake kidogo ya kumwaga ATF kwa brake master cylinder, it cost me a new master cylinder and a booster. Okay, before that nikitoka nje ya gate yangu nile have kuwekelea gari kwa fence ile kuistopisha, because the brakes were not working. So ni karibu fence which I had to repair at a cost of 4,000 shillings. Bumper ikaisha and it had to be repaired and repainted at a cost of 4,500 shillings. So naona hii imefika ngapi? 8,500. Nimenunua brake master cylinder mpya na booster yake at a cost of 10 Gs. Sasa hii imefika 18,500. Hawasi wa kubadilisha hiyo kitu, brake master cylinder ya Avensis kuitoa ni ngori. Hiyo you have to remove the inlet manifold, ama ni manifold, the inlet. Hiyo inlet ya engine lazima itolewe, and it is something that takes a process. It takes around 2 hours kutoa hiyo kitu, maybe 1 to 2 hours kutoa hiyo kitu, na kuiweka it's not 1 plus 1. So I could understand, so I had to pay that guy 4,000 shillings to do the work. So naona it went beyond 20,000 shillings because of a very small stupid mistake of putting ATF oil kwa system ya brake fluid, and that is something that you can easily do. So siwezi semati, huwezi semati huwezi fanya mistake ka hiyo. And by the way, some things to achie tu mechanics, I learned my lesson, and I felt that I should talk about it so that it could help someone out there. Hiyo kitu ilini cost a very simple